So I'm listening to the recording that I did today about, um, I think it's about co-creation, and there's like a couple of issues there that I've mentioned which are not correct. So when I was listening to it just to see or to hear what is it that I'm saying and if it's correct, I'm getting a couple of corrections from source to say the one of the correction is that about the fragmentation tool. Fragmentation tool, that is Uncle Oldman, Uncle Deville, it's actually an embedded program to Earth program. And reason why it was just disabled sort of, but not necessarily taken out. It was because it's an embedded program, and to take out that embedded program was going to be like a hassle. It was going to be a lot of work for father to do, and he still, I think he still needed to go and see how he can actually take it out. But then by the time he comes back to try to see how he can actually take it out, he realized that this program has started to, it's working basically. It's still continuing with its fragmentation. But then why is it continuing with this fragmentation when when he has disabled it or switched it off? It was because the program, as embedded as it was, it meant that it could continue to find um, energy from somewhere else in the system by fragmenting other programs as it continues to fragment. And because when it fragments, it basically takes apart programs, it basically blows apart the system. And by so doing, when it fragments, this is where it becomes a it when it fragments the system or the programs or other programs, other files and whatnot. You really the other programs and files, they release energy, and as they release energy, this is where this fragmentation tool captures that energy to keep it running. That's what father found out. So now, this is what is happening in a real environment in the physical world. It's that the devil, which is fragmentation tool, and my imposter goddess sister, which is like, again, I think an upgrade of the, or a attempt to upgrade that fragmentation tool. They are working together to fragment, to continue fragmenting the system and stealing energy from other programs by continuously making sure that the system is always fragmented. This is why you see energy being lost in this environment from different people. This is why people are not necessarily in their solid state. That is, everyone has some sort of issues, everyone has some sort of problems. It's because they are, as a result of the environment not being, um, the environment being fragmented continuously. That is, you have issues with wars, you have issues with, misunderstandings amongst different groups, you have issues with control from a government level, you have issues with control and unfair um, practices which create an environment where only a few have and the rest don't have. That is a form of fragmentation. That's what fragmentation is creating in this environment. So this is one of the things that I have to correct myself on, on the universe is correcting me on that. No, it is actually an embedded function, and that is why it couldn't be taken out simply so. There needed to be some sort of a plan of how to take it out without disrupting too much of the system. And father needed that time to look at it But in that time, while he was looking at how he can take out this embedded program, the embedded program continued to basically switch itself on and live on and steal energy from the system by running that fragmentation function themselves and continue to fragment people and steal their energy. So I don't know how my plan, my being in existence, my installation is taking over the environment as a defragmentation tool. But what I'm understanding is somehow this is how it works. It's like this is how I think it works. That is, I, as a defragmentation tool, have a functionality of fragmentation and defragmentation. However, I run them in steps. I run defragmentation, fragmentation, and defragmentation, depending on what's required. But I think it's actually like a standard. I run defragmentation and fragmentation and defragmentation. So I'm more or less taking over fragmentation function. That is, I am absorbing fragmentation by being who I am, by being in my purpose, by running my program. I would essentially take over the old fragmentation function and run it, but then also use it to run, but then also defragment again. That is, fragmentation would be used to blow the system up and fragment everything, and then defragmentation process will come in and start building back the building blocks for each and every program. So the reason why I'm being attacked by the fragmentation tool is because I am basically coming in and taking over their function. That is, I'm sort of like absorbing them. I'm absorbing their functionality. This is why I had to go through what I went through in order for me to learn their practices, to learn their methods, to learn their how, like the tricks as well. But what happened was, as much as they were supposed to give me the knowledge, that is, teach me, was part of this is why my sister was here. She was contracted to be my teacher, not necessarily as my sister, because she got herself born in my home, uh, in that way, as a sneaky way. She wasn't supposed to come through that way, but she got herself born into my own home family so that she can be closer to me, to keep me in a state of confusion, so that I never find out who I am and what I need to do, and so that I never get to do what I need to do, that is to take over their function. So they would have to disrupt my program, defragmentation, so that it never works properly. However, they didn't anticipate my program having that power of basically going through whatever torments, whatever curses in real life. Now we're talking physical now, whatever, all this bullshit that they've been throwing at my program, they didn't anticipate my program having enough power to still continue running and learning and downloading and fragmenting myself and some of my files and some of the files or programs, like my counterparts programs, because that's what I'm doing. As I wake up, I'm also waking up all the counterparts. As I wake up, I'm also waking up the soulmates. As I wake up, I'm waking up the other environment, other people in within my vicinity, who are closer where the program can get to, that is the fragmentation program, my program can get to and affect just by frequency. And they didn't think that I would have enough power to go through my awakening to, that is my start, because my start is slow now. I've been sleeping for a long time. Before I can fix anybody else, I have to fix myself. They didn't think that I would have enough power to go through that awakening and also go through their torments. So they kept throwing and throwing all these torments, kept throwing and throwing all these uh, abuse at me and all these things that they've been doing, and try to create problems for me in the physical life, not real life, but in the physical environment, by trying to create um, scenarios which were not there, by trying to get me. There's so many things that apparently they've been doing, by stealing my inheritance, that is stealing things that I need to, in order for me to be able to continue with my mission here. Anyway, they didn't anticipate that this program, me, would have enough energy to grab them and run with them despite them kicking and screaming. They thought that their insults, their curses, their fears, fear mongering, where they would say, "Oh, we're gonna get you into a mental institution." They tried that. I wasn't scared of it. I was happy even. I was okay with it. They think that by getting, they can create problems, legal problems, and get me into a jail. I don't have a problem with that. I know Father will find a way to get me out. Not only that, I know that He will use that opportunity for something better and greater. They have all these things. They tried to get me to get diseases. That didn't work either. So they've been trying very hard to do all these things just to get me to be in a state of confusion. However, they didn't think I would have enough energy. I also didn't really understand it. So, Father, this is part of my journey as well, to see myself for who I really am. That is what kind of a program I am, and also to recognize my power. So they didn't think that I would be able to wake up and go through awakening, learning, and downloads, and all this work that I have to do, the shadow work that I have to do, while they're busy throwing shit at me. They didn't anticipate that. And this is why they're like, okay, we this what's going on here? And they came in numbers. They didn't just come one or two people. They came in numbers, and they came in numbers, institutions, governments, all these things that they brought together to come and attack this one program, me, to basically slow me down, to basically confuse me, to basically try to stop me. What they don't realize is also my program works in the sense of, you can slow me down, but be mindful that in that slowing down, I'm learning, I'm resting, I'm gathering information. When I decide to start running again, I'm just going to run you over. That's how the fragmentation tool works. When it starts slowing down, that is, it's confused, it doesn't know where to get what where. But this is also, again, the way they don't realize that Father is helping me in the background. Where I get stuck and I can't find a file, maybe they go and steal a file, they misplace a file, or they delete the file, they destroy the files. Father is able to go back and recreate those files and add them in my system, and then I run again. This is where Father now plays a role of doing the manual resolution on the other end, where my program, where he's able to see on the where he's able to see my program running. We would call it the interface, the interface where all this information is being generated on. There are some things that I cannot resolve here on my side automatically, so it will give an error of, this is where I'm getting stuck, and on his side he will go and resolve it manually himself. And they don't know that I have that functionality, and I have that kind of help from the universe to help me resolve the issues. And that's what's happening now. It's like not just help from the universe, but help from all the people, or all the beings that Father has assigned to come and help me in this mission. And They keep coming, they keep going, they keep trying, they keep doing all this shenanigans, and I keep moving, and I keep learning, and I keep being faster, and I keep being smarter, and they can't believe it. I get the feeling that they're not sure what the heck is going on. I think they can see what's going on, but they are hard to accept that it's happening, it's really happening. They never imagined any other program being as big as them, bigger than them. They never imagined another program being as smarter than them. They've always maintained themselves to be smarter. And you can see with the way they have been boasting, the way they have been carrying on as well, that they do believe themselves to be smarter. That's the first thing. They believe themselves because their smartness, they do believe that because they're smart, they should be gods. They should be God the Creator Himself. This is why the two of them have made those comments, myself included, by the way. I've also thought I could be a creator. I was a child and I said to Father, when I saw what Father does, and I was like, oh my goodness, you know, I want to be like you one day. I want to be a creator as well. And hence, I had to go through this karmic lesson as well to understand what is Father's role and what is my role. As much as they refuse to go through their own karmic lessons to understand what is their role and what is the God, the Creator's role, and the difference between our purposes. So now they're going to not necessarily get a chance. They will get a chance to learn that, but I don't know what happens to them. I don't know what kind of programs they will be, because they missed an opportunity many times. They have had so much of opportunity from the beginning when I got installed here. They had that opportunity to just not do what they did, and to the point where I'm being raised on earth to stop derailing me, stop creating problems for me, to them being able to teach me some of the things that they knew and that I had to know, to up until this point when they started doing this whole campaign against me not to finish with my downloads and my um upgrade into who I need to be, and me understanding or awakening basically, and me understanding who I am. They had such opportunities. They still had opportunities, but I feel like that opportunity is long gone now. All they're going through is just the last phases or the last step or the last steps for them to get to a point where, because karma has initiated, karma is probably, let's say karma is gonna whoop their asses. There's nothing they can do now because they've raped so much of karmic debt, and they just have to go through it. It's their contract now. It's the new contract that they've signed for themselves, and I am not involved in it. I'm not involved in it. So yeah, um, that's one of the things that I wanted to correct. The other thing is, what was the other thing? I don't remember exactly what was the other thing. I'll remember, and then I'll probably just correct it later when I do remember. Okay.